Hi there and welcome to this screencast where we're going to take a look at creating some simple triggers using the Iron Realms Flash client. If you're new to MUDs, you're not sure what a trigger is. Basically it's where the client executes some kind of action or command in response to output from the MUD. This is to save you typing the command yourself. You can set a trigger in the client and it'll automatically do it for you. Okay, so as an example we're going to create a trigger to wear our character's armor when the character removes it. So if we type remove armor, you can see here we get this message from the game saying that we've removed a brightly polished set of frostable field plate armor. So what we want to do is we want to create a trigger, so every time the client receives that line it will send the command wear armor. So first thing we need to do is copy this line of text. So if we double click on here we get the scroll back window and we can here we go, we can find this line and we just highlight it with the mouse and copy, or Control C if you prefer, and then under settings we want the triggers tab. There's a few I did earlier in Blue Peter fashion, so we're going to create a new one, and then the pattern, this is the text that's matching from the MUD, so we're going to just paste in our line of text here. Send, this is the command we want to send, so it's wear armor. If you want to send multiple commands you can just put them on a different line, whatever you like, but there we go, that's just to send one, and then we need to enable it. So just click in there and enable it. The rest of these options you can leave as they are. So if we click on OK, and then if we remove armor, you can see immediately we've got the line saying the characters worn the armor again. So what's happened is the client has recognized this line of text in the MUD and it's automatically sent our command. That's great. Another use for triggers is to highlight lines from the MUD. There are certain important lines, you might want to make them easier to see, so you want to colour them in particular ways. So let's have an example of that. If we take this line here, you've recovered balance in all limbs, we can make a trigger. Here we are, so I've already done it. It's this one here, so if we look on the pattern, it's you've recovered balance on all limbs, the entire line. And this time in the send box we're not sending any command to the MUD. What we want to do is we want to print the line to the screen, so we're going to use the echo function. This is a built-in function of the client. What echo does is it takes three arguments. The first is the text that you're echoing, the second is the text color, and the third is the background color. These colours are optional. If you leave them out you'll just get white on black. So what we're using here is the this keyword. Now this matches the pattern, so what we have here, this 0 matches the entire pattern. If we had a regular expression with different groups in here we could use this 1, this 2, this 3. Don't worry about that now, we'll look at that in a few moments. But at the moment we just use this 0 to match the entire pattern, and then we're going to have black text on a kind of orange background. These are HTML hex color codes. You can use web standard color names if you prefer, red, green, whatever, but if you use the hex codes you can use any shade you like. And then we need to enable that, and because it's a script, we need to have script set to true and regular expression set to true, because again the send box, we're not sending it to the MUD, we're executing it as a script. And then the final thing we need to change is gag. This needs to be set to true because again we're replacing the text from the MUD. We don't want to have the line displayed twice, so gag will omit the original trigger line from the MUD output. Okay, so if we click on OK, let's see that again, remove armor, and again we've worn it on the trigger, and then when the character regains balance, there you go, you've we've got it in this rather bright orange, that makes it really stand out. Now another option for triggers that you might need to use is a trigger on the prompt. This is quite a common thing. We've got a prompt trigger here. Now this uses a regular expression. I'm not going to go into detail on the regular expression here. There are plenty of tutorials and information on the web. You can look all this up. But basically we're matching these parenthesis match groups, in this case digits, numbers, so it'll capture the number before the H, the health, and then the mana, ego, etc. And then here you've got the sort of status letters before the dash in the prompt. So this basically matches on the prompt. In the send box, what we're doing here is we're creating some variables. We don't actually use these at the moment, but you can create these. They maybe could be used in other scripts or other functions. So to create a variable, you just type the name and assign it. So health is equal to this one. Again, this keyword, it matches the groups in the pattern. So the first group is this one, the first parenthesis group. This is the second, the third, the fourth, etc. And then this 0 would match the whole thing, the whole prompt. So hopefully that makes sense. You can see that the first one is the health mana, so we're creating these variables, we're giving them sensible names. And then the second part of this little script is we're using a conditional to check if in the status part of the prompt, if the letter P is in there. And P means the character is prone, and if the character is prone, what we're doing is we're using an echo to send the prompt, and what we're doing is we're appending to it this text, which is the word prone surrounded by less than and greater than symbols. We're using the HTML safe codes for them. Prone in capitals and in the colour red, so it kind of really stands out, and we're appending that to the end of the prompt. That's if the character is prone. If the character is not prone, we're just sending the prompt in green as normal. So again, we're just going to enable that. Again, script and regular expression are true, and we want gag true again, so we don't get the prompts twice. So click on OK. Let's just check that's working. So if we sit, there we go. You can see the prompt. We've got prone, and then every time you get the prompt, it will append prone to the end. And then if we stand, you can see back to normal. So that's just an example of how you can modify the prompt. You can do much more sophisticated things, if you want to, with that. One last thing to mention with these settings, aliases, triggers, and macros, is that they are all automatically saved on the Iron Realms server. Just delete this duplicate there. So they're saved on a per character per game basis, so if you've got multiple characters across multiple games, when you log them in, they should all have their own settings file preserved for you. Additionally to that, if you want to save the settings locally, you can use the export and import buttons here. If, for example, you want to edit them offline, or you want to share your settings with a friend, you can export them. That will bring up an operating system box where you can select a file and save them, and import again if you want to load them back in later. These both require Flash Player version 10, so if you click these and nothing happens, it means you're using Flash Player version 9 and you should upgrade. Okay, well that concludes this screencast on triggers. Hope you found it useful. Look out for some more screencasts on aliases and other scripting. Thanks very much.